From NBC News, this is a special report. Here's Savannah Guthrie and Craig Melvin.
Hi there, everybody. Good morning. We come on the air with breaking news. President Biden, in his final hours, his final morning in office, has issued several high-profile pardons.
Among those pardoned this morning, Dr. Anthony Fauci, General Mark Milley, and the members and staff who served on the House committee that investigated the January 6th attack on the Capitol, including Liz Cheney.
And police officers who have spoken out as well from the Capitol Police. Let's go right to Chief White House Correspondent Peter Alexander. This just broke 10 minutes ago. Peter, what do you know?
Savannah, as NBC News first reported, President Biden, even yesterday, I'm told, was very seriously considering using this extraordinary presidential power to preemptively pardon some individuals. And this morning, as we are reporting, it is clear that he has decided to do just that in these final hours in office to guard against any potential revenge by the incoming Trump administration, by the incoming President Trump. President Biden just announcing, as you note, that he is pardoning Dr. Anthony Fauci, retired General Mark Milley, and members of the House committee that investigated the January 6th attack on the Capitol. That includes Liz Cheney, Adam Schiff, Adam Kinzinger, among others, as well as Capitol and D.C. police who testified before that committee. I want to share with you part of what the president writes. He says, in part, our nation relies on dedicated, selfless public servants every day. They are the lifeblood of our democracy. Yet alarmingly, he adds, public servants have been subjected to ongoing threats and intimidation for faithfully discharging their duties. Notably, his last comments in this statement add that these pardons, he says, should not be mistaken as an acknowledgement that any individual engaged in any wrongdoing, he says, nor should acceptance by them be misconstrued as any admission of guilt for any offense. He says our nation, quote, owes these public servants a debt of gratitude for their tireless commitment to our country. Now, let's back up for a moment. President Trump, incoming President Trump, as you know, has been a fierce critic and has really railed against so many of those individuals that are receiving these pardons today. Most recently, in late December of last year, Donald Trump verbally attacked Liz Cheney, saying that she committed, quote, egregious and unthinkable acts of crime. That was December 22nd, less than a month ago. Of Mark Milley, in the past, he suggested that he deserved execution, in effect, that some of the actions he had taken in the past would have been worthy of execution. So to be clear, Joe Biden, some of his final actions now to preemptively pardon some of those high-profile figures. Savannah.
All right, we want to turn now to Kristen Welker, moderator of Meet the Press, and Hallie Jackson, NBC's senior Washington correspondent. Peter really raises the point that needs to be made here. There were sometimes explicit, sometimes implicit threats, serious threats against Liz Cheney, Mark Milley, and others by Trump or by members of his team. So this pardon potentially has real-life consequences for these individuals.
It absolutely does. When I interviewed President-elect Trump in December, he was quite clear. He said, I think members of the January 6th committee should go to jail. He did not mince words. I said, you think Liz Cheney should go to jail? He said, yes. Never said what the crime was, by the way, and since then has not laid out the crime. What's notable is that you have committee members like Liz Cheney, like Senator Adam Schiff saying, we didn't do anything wrong. We don't want a pardon. But here's the key thing to know. Once the president issues these pardons, that's it. You don't get to reject it. The pardon is there. And so this is a significant historic moment because it speaks to the concerns about the threats of legal repercussions that the January 6th committee and all of the other folks, General Mark Milley, might be facing. Remember that tweet? You said not sometimes threats very clear against Mark Milley, saying that he should in effect be executed for treason. So this is a significant moment because I think it does underscore the very real concerns about what might happen.
And again, Hallie, all of this unfolding in just the last 10 minutes. I know we don't probably have a great deal of reaction from some of these folks who've been pardoned yet, but are we hearing anything at all from?
A little bit. I can tell you that I just spoke with somebody connected to the events of January 6th who is subject to receiving this pardon, who said that it was one of the lines that President Biden talked about, that these individuals did nothing wrong, that really resonated with this spokesperson who only found out about this sort of through the grapevine, has not officially heard from the White House yet, just in the overnight hours here. So to your point, Craig, this is all moving quickly. It is not altogether unexpected. Kristen talks about this being a significant legal point, a significant legal milestone. It is also significant politically. Remember that one of the things that Democrats campaigned on for months was this idea that President-elect Trump, who was then a candidate, could enact political revenge on people he considered quote-unquote enemies. Remember that his incoming FBI director, if in fact Kash Patel is confirmed, wrote a book and in it put an appendix of dozens of people who he described as members of the deep state, which also raised that concern. Kristen, you're reporting this morning on confirming that there will be more than 50 people who may have their national security clearances revoked because of concerns raised about their involvement in sort of tossing down the Hunter Biden laptop story. So there's a lot here that I think Democrats are concerned about. It's not an unexpected move, but it is a big deal by President Biden.
On a day like this, that rare day when we have two presidents in one day, we have President Biden issuing pardons on the way out, President-elect Trump saying he may issue some pardons on the way in. You hear about executive orders. Just to be clear, this pardon power that the Constitution provides a president is sweeping, it is complete, and it cannot be undone by the next president. So if you're wondering, could President Trump unpardon those pardons today?
No.
No. The answer is no. That concludes this NBC News special report. Stay with NBC News for more throughout the day. We'll return most of you now to the Today Show.
And we will be back.